About a week ago, I decided to make a tier list featuring Batch at Begins, where we went over every single tier 9 vehicle in World of Tanks Blitz and placed it into the respective column of either super strong, broken, or average, stuff like that, depending on how we thought the tank performed in the current meta of Blitz. And there were a lot of disagreements over certain vehicles, but the major one I noticed was the VK45 Wotb. Now, I'll be honest, the last time I've played in this tier 9 German heavy was before the Motion even existed. Like, sure, I've had a couple stream donations here and there where people have asked to play it, but apart from that, I really do not touch the VK45. It's not one of those tanks I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to play today, and I pull it out of my arsenal. So, I figured, how about I try out the VK45? In the video, I said that it was a worse E75 in a lot of ways. And yeah, statistically, it does say that. It's slower. This tank only goes 30 kilometers per hour at a top speed, as you'll see here, compared to the E75's 40 kilometer per hour top speed. So that is a pretty big difference. As well, the E75 has 8 degrees of gun depression all around the vehicle, where the VK45 can only use 8 degrees over the sides, and it only has 5 over the fronts. So it does have some major disadvantages. However, it is rear-turreted, which means that you can get some very nice side scrapes on this vehicle. And in Update 8.7, Wargaming has once again buffed the VK45 to give it another 15 millimeters of side armor, which has actually made it quite solid at side scraping. So if we make our way over to Armor Inspector, this is the VK45, and this is the E75. Yeah, they're pretty close on at least frontal armor profiles. As I said, the E75 can use 8 degrees over the front, where the VK, yeah, you're not going to be able to use that. So to actually use your gun depression, you're going to have to over-angle it. The issue is, when you do that, you are exposing your very weak hull armor. So what I would suggest to do is use around 7 degrees of gun depression. You'll be fine like this, and you're going to bounce basically any shells from enemy opponents as long as you don't expose your track wheel. But it's actually got some pretty decent armor. You know, as long as you're using it correctly, you can still get about 7 degrees and hide that weak frontal track wheel while making it quite hard to penetrate. So the armor's not bad on this vehicle, especially after they buffed it, and now it's about 123. But I will say the E75 is still 130 on the sides, which means that you can actually get, as you'll notice here, a side scrape where the VK45 won't, as at least an aggressive angle. But the E75 is not rear-turreted, which means that you also, you know, can't really side scrape as well. So it's kind of back and forth between both of these tanks, but that's how it should be. You should have compromises between both of these vehicles. The only thing I really think that Wargaming should do is make the VK45 go the same top speed as the E75, because it's just kind of a major downside that it doesn't gain in another category. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go pull up 2 replays I played in the VK45. Now these are, I played 3 battles in the tank today, as you can see. The first one went okay, I didn't do anything crazy, lost it at about 2700, but the next 2 battles actually went pretty well. In fact, the second one you're going to see if you stick around that long was pretty freaking crazy, I'm not going to lie. So here we are in the first game. It's a top tier battle, which is fantastic. Not going to be the case for the next one, but yeah, top tier battle, that's great. That means that tier 8s are really going to struggle to pen me. Even with premium shells, my upper plate is virtually impenetrable. When it comes to the lower plate, yeah, you can pen it, but it's actually quite strong, still at around 220 to 230 millimeters thick. So the armor on this tank is nice. It's also got a very good gun featuring the same aiming time, dispersion, and DPM as the E75. So it's got fantastic alpha at 460. It's got around 2000 DPM base, which isn't anything amazing, but it does have some very nice penetration, enough to butter through an E100 turret. So yeah, in a tier 8 game, it's enough to completely demolish an enemy hit point pool. So we got the T92E1, and I kind of drove into that little stilt sticking out, but that's not going to stop me from slapping 477 hit points off of the T92E1. What I'll tell you, for the battles at least I played in this vehicle, is that it did pretty well. I got a lot more bounces than I would expect. I did make a bit of a mistake when it comes to the 183 in the next game, but yeah, the armor actually did its job, and the gun's nice enough that it can definitely work a lot of situations. I was definitely trying to expose my armor in ways that I would see if it was actually working well, so pulling out into a waffle here, maybe we'll get a bounce, come on, yeah, there you go, nice bounce right into the track wheel. One thing I will say, and this is a pretty good example right here that you can see, is the lower plate on this vehicle is much smaller than the E75's lower plate. It's probably about 1/3, so it's definitely smaller, but it's still quite easy to penetrate, so don't take that as, you know, it's like the most godly lower plate in the planet, but it's definitely going to get a lot more bounces than the E75's lower plate, especially when it comes to premium ammunition. Try to get a slap into that T92, but just a tad bit off there, so that is a bit bit of a shame. Now, obviously, by the title of today's video, you clearly know that I enjoyed playing this tank, actually. I don't think it's that bad, and I definitely would put it up with the E75 on at least equal ranking when it comes to my tier list in Tier 9, so I will take that back. This is the only vehicle I would say I changed the tier list ranking on, but yeah, you guys convinced me. You kind of said what I did wrong in the video. I listened, and there you go. This is the VK45. So already, we're up to 2,071 damage, and we're doing pretty good. I mean, I had to clear that Panther 8.8, did not want that guy on my booty, but what is going to be on my booty is a very annoying light tank being a T92E1, but I'm not going to worry about him. You're going to see him right behind me, and yeah, gets a pretty big slap in for 523, but thankfully, my AT is shooting at that guy, so hopefully he can clear the T92, and while that's going on, I'm going to be chilling over here, trying to get some shells into the enemy opponents. So there you go, nice shot. Again, we're over now 3,000 damage, still trying to side scrape, but oh, right into the hatch. I can't really say that the E75 would have done better there because it has literally the same hatch. I'm a bit of a damage horse, so I wanted to shoot that Conqueror over the Glacial, and unfortunately, the HE did pen, but it did 100 less average damage than normal, so we kind of got robbed, but whatever. We finish off the Glacial in the end with an easy slap right into the cupola, and there you have it. Pretty good game for the first game for the VK45. We blocked about 1,200 damage. We got a couple shots in the cupola. That's one thing that is a big weakness for the Tiger 2, the VK45, even the E100 has a bar on the roof, but at that point you just load premium on the turret cheeks, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, armor did its job, and we did 3,756 damage. This canal game is absolutely insane. This is one of the weirdest, dumbest, and craziest games I have played in a while in Tier 9, and that says a lot. I've probably played about 200 battles in Tier 9 over the past week, just trying to test out the new vehicles. Probably tomorrow or later today I'll be posting a Cent 7-1 video talking about its armor buff, which I'm gonna be honest is pretty freaking fantastic. But here we are. What do we have up against us? Well, we got a Leopard 1, Vickers CR, and a Standard B. Now, one thing you'll notice is that because this tank is a lot slower, I didn't actually want to push it towards the medium side. If I was in an E75, I might have actually pushed it over towards D to support my team, but I didn't really want to do this in the VK. I knew that I could side scrape, so even if I got detected here and people were shooting at me, I could hopefully get a bounce while capping this base. And there you go. We got base C captured before the enemy team could even do anything. I really like getting base captures in Supremacy. After changing my gameplay over to Supremacy, I've been able to average around 76% now in Tier 10, and I'm almost up to 77%. The win rate has been skyrocketing up and up and up when I've changed over to Supremacy battles. So I'm definitely starting to get that sort of team play aspect where capturing bases, pushing your tanks where they would be more situated, but oh man. Yeah, that shell just completely buttered my nuggets. That was 1,200 hit points taken right off of my VK, and that was literally half of my health from a single shot. That's not great. I did over-angle it, I'll be honest. I didn't think the 183 was going to hesh me. I thought he was just going to AP it, so I was like, whatever, he'll just AP me, and that'll be the end of it. But nope, he went right through my armor with a pretty gross hesh shell. So not much I can really say about that, but I mean, I tried my best. So that's really all that I can say in that certain situation. So we've got the Vickers CR, the Leopard over here. Not much I can really do to these guys. So I'm just like, okay, you guys are having fun. I don't want to be shot by them though. That's the issue in this situation. As we know, the VK45, while its armor is thick on the sides, especially after they buffed it, it's not amazing. So I can't really turn my vehicle to the side and as well deal with the other opponents on the other side of me. So I got to be very, very careful in this situation. I really wanted to get a shell maybe to that Vickers, but we couldn't. What I found weird, though, is that we had a lot of healthy tanks. We had a Conway, we had a 121B, and really none of them wanted to push on the two mediums that were basically one-shots. I mean, maybe it was the scare factor of that 183, but I don't know. I'm very surprised that my mediums took so long to actually push on D side, especially because the Standard B is over here doing whatever God knows. So we're at 1,400 damage in this game, and already it's a pretty weird battle. We got a nice shot, though, on the C75, and oof, right into his fire. That's 800 damage. That's basically 2 shells from my tank there, so that's pretty free, but uh-oh, that's a Standard B. Pull forwards, pull forwards. Whoa! Ooh, the shell just missed me, which is obviously fantastic. I do not want to be shot by enemies. I don't want to lose hit points. If I got hit by that Standard, I would have been a potential one-shot for the E75 or the Ag Tiger they have on their team. Right now, we are down a lot. Our mediums have still not pushed. In fact, you're going to see me type in chat in one moment here. Yeah, meads go. I mean, these mediums needed to go. They weren't pushing. We were already down 2 tanks. 2 tier 10s, mind you not. So it wasn't going great at this certain scenario, but I was hoping that maybe we can pick it up. So there's the 183 crossing. I get spotted, but oh no, I shoot him in backup. Loser. Now we're over 3,000 damage, which is pretty sweet. Again, I'm just chilling here. I was hoping maybe we could get another shell into that 183. I put on my adrenaline, but it just pulls right in the cover. So we're not getting a slap into that 183. But with the 183 being distracted by those players, I know that now I can push off to the side without being shot, which is a pretty good feeling when you're on Canal. There's the standard B, loaded an HE shell, and boom, easy shot right into his tracks. So this battle, I can't really say we would have done better in the E75 or worse, because I didn't really get to use the armor all too much until now. Now, that was a pretty nice bouncer, I'll take it. And we aim right on that Sky's lower plate, and just Shell says no. I don't even know where the shot went. Just the 60 TP lower plate can be very troll. I wouldn't say the 60 TP is the best armor, but it's definitely not the worst. There you go, look at that. A heat shell goes right into my tracks, and because of that, we get a bounce from that 60 TP. I mean, the armor can be reliable, and I actually out-reload this 60 TP at this point, so even if this guy face-hugs me, I could care less. He's finished off by my E50, and now we're going to push up. Hello, Mr. E75. How are you doing? Let's aim it on his lower plate, and kaboom. E75 is stock, as you'll notice by the 310 damage. He did just bounce on me, but we're already up to 4,000 damage, which is a pretty nasty number for a tier 9 heavy tank. We got the Yag Tiger, and oh boy, this is not good. I've put myself in a very bad crossfire. That Yag Tiger could have easily just pushed down and killed me, but he didn't. So by this knowledge already, I know he's not the best player, but he still could YOLO me at any moment and kill me. This guy's very healthy, and he's got about 4,000 DPM. I have like 2,000, so I have half the DPM of that Yag. Thankfully, we get one nice shot in, and oh, please, please, please. Yes! He doesn't do anything because he's bad, and then he misses me, and look at that, ladies and gentlemen. The Yag Tiger gets finished off. That was 5,009 damage and 1,800 blocked. Not a bad battle for the VK45, and with that, we pulled out a mastery. So, yeah, I don't think the vehicle's bad at all. I do think that the E75 still has a lot more situations it would feel more comfortable in being able to reposition because it's faster, having more overall gun depression over the front. But I do think the VK45 has its own niche where you can get some very good battles out. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Obviously, if you enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!